Hey, hey, hey.
I'm muted.
Hi, Tameka.
Hi, Miss Audra.
How are you?
Whew. I had to take a cat nap.
Aw.
I was struggling. I've been struggling. It's been a long day.
Hey T.
My baby.
Hi Amy.
Sorry, y'all have to excuse me. Hey, my mixie.
Hey.
Look at that hair. I miss you.
I miss you too.
Oh.
Hi, ladies.
Hey, Miss Shonda. I see Miss Audrey. Okay, let me text Dr. B. I know we talked earlier. Make sure she's not having no issues. Getting in. Shoot, we about to have this session. I've been so sleepy and tired today. I hadn't even taken my supplements for the day. Lord, I've been up since 4 something. Let's see.
Wow.
Okay, iPad going off on the other side of the room. Yeah, I got up and worked out. Although I didn't have much sleep last night, I still got up and worked out.
Oh, that's good.
Hmm. Oh, excuse me. Okay.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, hey, Attorney Christie.
Hello.
Got Miss Candace on. Hey, y'all. Miss Tammy. All right. All right, so I'm making sure she's good. Okay, I just sent her a note, so I just want to make sure she's good. She said she's having technical issues. Uh-oh. The devil is a lie. Mm. Okay, so everybody hold on for a sec. Let me try. I'm gonna help her troubleshoot. All right, everyone. Hello, hello. So, we love technology, but sometimes we have that love-hate relationship with it because when you want it to work and it works like it's supposed to all day, and then it comes that moment where it decides it doesn't want to work. So, but it's all good. We found a way to work around it. So we are going to get started. Let's see here. Give me one second here. Okay. All right. So we're recording. We're good. So good. All right. So hi, everybody. It's so great to have y'all join us this evening. So this is not one of my typical webinars or events we have, but is one that's very relevant and one I didn't quite think about having sooner. I wish I did, but it's all good. So this was something that was initially came out of just a discussion I was having with our about to be college freshmen. And we were just talking about some of the challenges with them going back to school and all the different types of levels of preparation. And it birthed into this idea that just kind of grew from there. And voila, here we are. So everybody on this line, I believe, is familiar with me. But in case you're not, because it's so important, I decided to extend the invitation to some people within my network, some organizations I love and support who work with youth, who I thought this information would be pertinent to them as well. And then we opened it up a little bit more and shared it outside of our immediate circle. So, so for those who are not familiar with me, I am Tameka Williamson. I guess better known as your favorite college for free coach. And it is a pleasure to be with you all this evening. See, when you get up at 4 something in the morning, sometimes you get a little delirious this time of the day. So y'all just excuse me. But no matter how tired I was committed to getting up and working out this morning. So I got it in. But nonetheless. So I am not going to belabor the moment. I am going to share with you one of my doctors. Anybody who's followed me for a while in terms of my health journey, my weight loss journey, I affectionately call her Dr. B. She's been my doctor for, I can't even remember how long, but she has been instrumental in my weight loss journey because you have to make sure the inside of your body is good before you even try to tackle the outside. So part of my ability to lose weight is attributed to some of the inner workings of things that we were working on together to get my hormones and system levels together so that I could effectively go through a workout regimen and get the results that I have been that I was looking for. Because there was a period of time where I was working out and I was actually gaining weight. Like really, you'd be like, what the heck? I mean, I was doing some serious workout. Yeah, I was doing some Krav Maga. And if you don't know anything about Krav Maga, it's an Israeli martial arts. And I was gaining weight instead of losing weight. And I was like, okay, something's going on with my body. And we did extensive blood work and all that good stuff. And we were able to figure out what was going on and come up with a regimen. And it's been a process. It didn't happen overnight, but it's been a process over a few years in order to get it done. But you also know, if you've been following me, those who know me, I've traveled extensively for probably a good 4 years in a row, meaning my second home was an airplane in a hotel room. So a lot of times I was gone, probably about 75-80% of the year I was on the road. And doing that much travel, there are certain things you have to do to protect your immune system, and certain things you do with getting on and off those planes to keep yourself from being sick. So a lot of the things that I've learned over the years about my body, about supplements and natural health, and just basic principles of understanding our body and how the body heals and functions, I've learned from Dr. Kiovanni as well. And so it's why I've been able to, I thank God I've been able to just kind of stay strong and maintain some things. And when I flash forward to this year, and I'm gonna tell y'all a little bit about her, but I thought maybe I'll give y'all just a little bit of my story and why I'm presenting her to you, and why let you know why I'm sharing this. Earlier this year, well, end of last year, going over to this year, I was actually in Singapore. We got back from Singapore right before COVID went mass crazy. And I thank God we got back when we did. There were people on our trip, on our ship, who were sick and confined to their room, and we just thought it was just the flu. But there were certain things I did before I left that Dr. Kiovanni gave me, some just immune system building things, because I was determined I'm going out of the country. And I always take extra precautions when I go out of the country. So I usually go through just like, what do I need, especially when I'm going to countries I've never been to, and we were going to be traveling as long as we were going to be traveling. So I wanted to do a little bit extra. And I met with Dr. Kiovanni, got some stuff, and my travel partner, she and I, we were good. Folks was getting sick. We had our stuff in our system. We did what we were supposed to do, and we came back, and thank God we were fine. We didn't have any health issues, and still haven't had any issues. I still take my supplements to this day. So I'm not sharing something with you all that I haven't tried, that I haven't done for myself. And those who know me know that, I try to be very, very careful about who I put in front of my clients and people close to me. I try not to put anybody in front of you guys. I'm very, very protective of my group, and I'm very selective. So with that said, hold up, somebody who was trying to get in. All right, so with that being said, let me just tell you a little bit about Dr. Kiovanni. She's the owner of Advanced Integrated Healthcare. Dr. Kiovanni is board certified with 16 years of private practice here in Metro Atlanta. She holds a degree in biology, chemistry, and life science, in addition to her doctorate of chiropractic. Her whole person approach to practice caters to men, women, children, and adolescents. Dr. Kiovanni lectures and presents seminars on topics involving preventive healthcare methods, human physiology, and hormonal imbalances. She has successfully performed hundreds of nutritional counseling consultations and managed cases, helping patients locally, nationally, and internationally to regain their highest quality of life. In 2012 and 2013, Atlanta Tribune magazine recognized Advanced Integrated Healthcare as #1 healthcare practice. Atlanta magazine also recognized Dr. Bianca Kiovanni as a top chiropractor in Atlanta in 2018. The practice offerings include chiropractic, physical therapy, saliva hormone testing, blood lab work, nutritional counseling, organic/plant-based supplements, ionic foot detoxification, therapeutic and post-operative massage, thermography, and coil sculpting. And I can tell you, I've taken advantage of every last item on this list. It's probably so much more over the years. So, especially when I had my back surgery. The masseuse therapist in her office, Patrick, Lord, he made me cancel my subscription at Massage Envy. But that's another side note. But anyway, Dr. B, and she's also my soror, so I guess I could be a little biased. But Dr. B, let me introduce Dr. Kiovanni to everyone. Everyone meet Dr. Kiovanni.
I'm here. I'm sorry. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, I can't.
Okay.
Can't see you.
Yes.
You can't see me. I'm sorry. Can you see me now? I'm
Yeah.
here. Okay.
So, Giovanni, it's on you. Just tell me. I'll try to follow you. If I'm not on task, just tell me when to switch.
No worries, no worries. First of all, thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us this evening. As Tameka shared, I am Dr. Bianca Kiovanni, the person in the bio. A lot of people don't believe I've been in practice as long as I have, but I have. And what I really wanted to do is just share some tips, tools that Tameka and I have employed over the many years that she's been a patient of mine, in terms not only for your college students, really, but these days, high school, elementary school, pre-K, and even for the parents themselves. So we're not going to be before you long. We're going to jump right in and just basically start talking about the fall school semester and how we can basically do the best we can to protect the overall health. I'm not sure how many parents we have on the call this evening and how many students, but this information technically is universal. It's for males, females, students, and parents alike. So Tameka, you can go ahead and go to the next slide because I'm actually following on my own computer as well. And basically, we're in mid-August. So especially if you attended an HBCU like I did, this is pretty much fall semester time, even though we're technically still in summer. So parents sending off their kids for the first time, it's kind of exciting. We're packing, we're getting things together, we're getting ready to go. I remember when I went off to college, trips to Bed Bath & Beyond. Mom, I need more stuff. Dad, is this gonna fit in the car? So new beginnings, new friends, new relationships. Those of you that are maybe in your second year or beyond, returning back to campus, moving forward with your future life plans. There's just a lot going on right now. Next slide, Tameka, for me. And for the parents, there's a lot going on in terms of emotions. There's stress, there's anxiety, just getting together. Hopefully you've been working with someone like Tameka, making sure that college is paid for. Unfortunately, though, up until, a few months ago, COVID didn't exist, technically. There's a lot of information that people don't realize. Coronavirus in of itself is a family of viruses, okay? So coronavirus, the family of viruses, has been around for a long time. It is the 19 strain or the COVID-19 strain that's actually causing a lot of the health issues that we're seeing. You can go to the next slide, Tameka, for me, please. Or actually, you know what? You can't. Hold on. Let me switch that. Perfect. So basically, it's the 19 strain that over the past 5-6 months has infiltrated every aspect of the human existence. Every decision we make, where we go, when we go, how long we stay, how long before we go. Everything in the human existence now is affected by COVID-19. And we're living in, unparalleled times. Never in the history, as long as I've been alive, has one particular health situation literally governed every decision that you make, including, do I send my child back? I'm working with some students right now who have some pre-existing health conditions who don't even feel comfortable returning back to their respective college campuses for fall studies. So there's a lot, going on, and a lot of weight and consideration and effort that needs to be made to figure out, if I'm going to send my child back to school, what is going to be the best situation for us? Next slide, please. So basically, the one thing I want, to share with everyone is, what are the symptoms of COVID-19? This comes straight from the CDC website based here in Atlanta. But if we take a look at these symptoms, fever, chills, cough, shortness of breath, headaches, sore throat, congestion, runny nose, nausea, diarrhea potentially. I don't know about you, but even as a medical professional, this sounds like the common cold, the flu, potentially food poisoning, meningitis, or COVID-19. And so this is one of the reasons why, to me, it is absolutely paramount, not only for students, college age, but high school, elementary, middle, and parents as well, since we're all co-interacting, to make sure, one, we understand these symptoms, because there's so much overlap. And that's the part that really makes people uncomfortable. How do I not know? Am I dealing with the flu? Am I dealing with COVID? Do I have something else going on? Is this just a common cold? Well, the main thing that we have to take care of, next slide, please, Tameka, is our immune system. How do we make proper preparations to go away for school, or even if you're going to be commuting? You could be living here locally and possibly commuting downtown to Georgia Tech or Georgia State, or possibly down to Macon or Statesboro. What precautions as a parent and even as a student do you protect yourself from COVID-19? Because remember, when your child turns 18 legally, they are an adult, which means in terms of their health care, their health information, technically and legally, they are on their own. So even if you take your 18 or your 19-year-old child / adult to the doctor, technically parents aren't allowed in the room unless that 18 plus child invites their parent into the room. So understanding that, if we can educate our young people now, that handoff from you being present in those appointments to being able to feel comfortable with that 18 plus child going alone is a lot better. And then, a lot of parents want to do something, but they don't know exactly where to start. Do we take vitamins? Where do I get those vitamins from? How much? How long? How do I know? There's a lot of incomplete questions. Next slide, please. So what we have to take a look at is the immune system as a whole. And what is our immune system? Basically, it's a network of cells, tissues, and organs whose primary role is to protect our body from foreign invaders. Those invaders could be parasites, foodborne, they could be viruses, they could be bacteria, any sort of foreign invader, anything that doesn't belong in our human body. Our body is inherently trained to fight off anything that would do us physical harm. However, how do you know your immune system is working? Next slide, please. How do we even know? How well is it functioning? Do you even know it's functioning? A lot of people make assumptions about their health. They wake up and they feel like, well, I feel good, things must be all good. And usually 9 times out of 10, we are correct. However, with the unprecedented health situation, how do you even know? And how does one even go about knowing what their immune system status is? So again, sometimes we do some research on the internet. We read a couple articles, things sound well. We go to the health food store, we spend $100 on stuff, we try it. That was okay. I didn't really notice a difference. But how do I know I was taking the right product? How do I know I was taking in the right dosage? Again, we're making a lot of assumptions. And that's why it's important to work with a licensed care professional to make sure you're getting the proper information at the proper time. Next slide, please. And so one of the main tools that Tameka and I have used together over the years of her being a patient of the practice is getting labs or blood work done. Blood work is a very quick, minimally invasive process of understanding and getting a window into what's going on with your health real time. The other good thing about blood work is we're able to assess what organs, cells, tissues, systems in the body need some support before something happens. So the goal with COVID, really, but COVID prevention, flu prevention, meningitis, strep throat, a lot of the things that affect college age students is prevention, prevention, prevention. Well, we can't prevent anything if we're always being reactive. The time is now to become more proactive, understand where I stand now, take the proper measures now so that when things change, you know what? I know I'm protected. I know I'm doing the best I can to make sure my health is optimal. Next slide, please. So Tameka called me a few weeks ago and she said, hey, and I know she's worked with college students over the years. I referred some of my patients and some of my parents, over to her, for her amazing services. And she said, I've got a lot of students going off to college. We should do something, to teach them about their immune system health. And when she said that, we both kind of had this epiphany, like, why did we not do this sooner? So therefore, no time like the present. So basically what I created was the College Scholar Immune System Checkup. And these are a list of blood lab tests that will give us an amazing view of what's going on with your student's health. Basically, they comprise of a lipid panel or a cholesterol panel, a comprehensive metabolic panel, a complete blood count, C-reactive protein, B12, and vitamin D. What are all of these things? We're getting ready to talk about them right now. Next slide, please. So one, we definitely want to do a cholesterol panel. Again, college age students, we're talking about anywhere between 16, 17 to 21. Understanding one, is their cholesterol, their total cholesterol I'm speaking of, is it too high? Which may indicate that maybe some dietary or some lifestyle changes need to be addressed. There's a lot of misinformation about cholesterol on the internet. Most people don't know that cholesterol is also a hormone and can give insight to potential health challenges and hormonal imbalance. So hypothetically, if we have a young lady who maybe has a very heavy menstrual cycle, maybe she's getting her menstrual cycle too frequently, maybe she didn't go through acne at puberty, but at 2021, now we have things like cystic acne going on, chronic fatigue. Those are all signs of hormone imbalance. And believe it or not, looking at the cholesterol level can let us know what do we need to do. The other thing is we know that cholesterol is broken down into HDL, high density lipoproteins, and LDL, low density lipoproteins. HDL, good cholesterol, LDL, air quotes, bad cholesterol. Our HDL needs to be at and above a certain level. How do we know what our HDL is? And for me, I like to be specific as possible when it comes to patient health, and using that blood work, getting that data will allow us to be as specific as possible in terms of the overall health. Next slide, please. A comprehensive metabolic panel. Now this panel consists of about, 14 different tests. Now, again, if you do blood work with us, let me just preface, you only get stuck one time. But we're able to take that one stick and get a tremendous amount of information. And so these particular subset of tests talk to me about blood sugar, liver function, kidney function. I also can take a look at a comprehensive panel and tell if that patient's been drinking enough water, how much sugar they've been taking in. A lot of times my patients, when they're going to get blood work done, they know they're getting blood work done. So they try to change their diet for 2-3 days to kind of clean it up as if that's going to change the labs. And I'm telling you guys right now, it doesn't. I wouldn't even do it. So we can understand how much sugar you're taking in. And again, we know that high fructose corn syrup and processed sugar weakens the immune system. That was a fact pre-COVID. So understanding what the sugar level is, the status of the liver and kidney function. Your liver and kidneys are filters. Most people don't know that all the blood in your entire body goes through your liver 7 to 8 times every day. We ask our livers to do a lot. And a liver is a filter, which means it can only hold so much and it can only filter so much. So sometimes we have to sometimes that's where our detoxification or the detox or the cleanse that we hear about comes into play. It's a time to actually cleanse out the liver filter itself so that it can filter and clean the blood more efficiently. Same thing with the kidneys. Certain toxins go through the kidneys and are excreted out through the urine. How well are we doing that? If we're not drinking enough water, the kidneys have to work harder to do their job. And zinc deficiency. So one of the main symptoms of COVID-19, along with influenza and everything else, but specifically for this presentation, COVID-19, is the sudden loss of taste and smell. What that is an actual physical manifestation of a severe zinc deficiency. Zinc is a mineral found in the human body that is responsible for over 300 chemical reactions in your body. You cannot have a strong functioning immune system without adequate levels of zinc. It's just a fact. You just can't really have that. And so one of the tests, specifically alkaline phosphatase in that comprehensive metabolic panel, tells me what the status of that patient's zinc is. And I can already tell based on that number, we're already in a zinc deficiency or we're on the borderline of a zinc deficiency. Let's go ahead and get that corrected before we have any specific health issues. Next slide, please. Next, we would do a CBC, which is our complete blood count. These tests actually look at the number and efficiency of both our red and white blood cells. Again, fatigue is another main symptom of COVID-19. Well, how do we not know that maybe that particular student is anemic? And there are different types of anemic. You have iron deficiency anemia, you have pernicious anemia, you know, which is caused by a B12 deficiency, which we'll get to in just a moment. So how do we know? Again, we make a lot of assumptions, and sometimes we're correct and sometimes we're not. And what we're finding, especially in the instance of COVID, making a wrong decision, unfortunately, can mean the matter of life and death. Also assessing the actual function of the immune system itself. So in that CBC, we look at other things like, and these are more for the provider, not necessarily for the general public, but we're looking at things like lymphocyte count, neutrophil count, eosinophil count, monocyte count. That tells us, has this patient, because there are a lot of asymptomatic people walking around with COVID-19 right now. This could tell us potentially, is this particular individual, have they been fighting off something recently, or has their body been recently exposed to something? Again, if you don't do the data or do the research and do the proper testing, you may never know. Next slide, please. The next test is called C-Reactive Protein. This is a test that a lot of people, you know, laypersons have not heard of, but it is used extremely frequently on the provider side to determine if there's any inflammation in the body. And that's basically one of the things that COVID-19 does. It's a virus that gets into the lungs. So it starts in the lungs, and it basically starts this huge process of inflammation. Meaning, and one of the things with inflammation is it makes the body very hot, and the body can only exist in a certain temperature range. And so basically, to make a long story short, it starts in the lungs, all these organs get inflamed and things start failing in order, okay? So for example, your average college student, we're talking about those 17, 21, 22, the average college student should have a C-reactive protein number of less than 1. If that C-reactive protein comes back greater than 1, and especially for me, greater than 3 or 5, something's going on in the human body. And it's up to us to do more investigation to figure out where that inflammation is located and why it's there in the first place. It is one of the most amazing ways to figure out what's going on with the patient, because a lot of times C-reactive protein will go up long before the patient has symptoms. And so if you don't learn anything else from this seminar, understand, symptoms are always the last thing to show up and the first thing to leave. That's why we can never assume that the absence of symptoms equals the presence of health. That'll get us in trouble every time. Next slide, please.
Yeah, I'm just saying, yeah, I think mine was at 15. There was a time
right.
mine was like
Exactly. So you can tell. And so Tameka was asking me, and she was asking, and I remember that, and at that time, Tameka was like, well, I want to start this workout program and I want to do this. And I'm like, that's a great idea. Not right now. Your body is literally too hot. We have to take the proper steps, bring that C-reactive protein down. So she made some she made some lifestyle changes. And not too long after that, we repeated the C-reactive protein and the number had dropped significantly. So now she knew she had the green light to do what she wanted to do. And most importantly, like she said in the beginning, get the results that she was actually looking for. One of the other tests in the immune system checkup is B12. Most people think about B12 when they think of energy, like, oh, I need a B12 shot, or I found a B12 shot on Groupon, which another seminar, but don't do those. It is a water-soluble vitamin. Why am I sharing that? Water-soluble vitamins are ones you can take on an empty stomach. Water-soluble vitamins also cannot be present in toxic levels in the body, which means technically you could take as much B12 as you want. Some of the other things that B12 does for us other than boosting energy is preventing fatigue, mood balance. You know, a lot of young people are dealing with things like anxiety, test-taking anxiety, imposter syndrome. There's a lot of things affecting our young people. Again, am I going to catch COVID? You know, am I going to catch meningitis? What else is going on? Prevents memory loss. So, you know, we're taking midterms, finals, preparing, to move forward in our education. We need our memory to be there for us. Low B12 levels increase memory loss. That's also very important for our senior, or what I call my more mature age patients. All of my, what I call my young patients, those are my patients age 70 and over, all of them take B12 to preserve their memory, because a lot of times patients are falsely labeled as having Alzheimer's and dementia when really they just have a B12 deficiency. You need B12 for healthy digestion. A lot of times we go off to college, we're eating at all times of the night. We're eating more processed food. We're eating more junk food. We're not drinking as much water. Low B12 levels can affect digestion. And what does that look like? It looks like things like gas, bloating, fatigue, constipation. B12? Absolutely. The other beautiful thing about B12 is it's anti-inflammatory. Remember in the previous slide, we talked about C-reactive protein causes inflammation. B12 gets rid of inflammation. So for me, it only makes sense to have those two levels in the same lab test to figure out, is one high because the other's too low or vice versa? Only makes sense to me. The other thing is you need B12 for strong hair, skin, and nails. A lot of us spend money on these hair supplements and hair tonics and things like that. And I always had a saying, don't take advice about hair from someone that doesn't have any hair. I'm just saying. So a lot of times, again, low B12 levels can cause, hair to break off, nails to break off, skin. So acne, sometimes acne can become worse or more cystic or more frequent when B12 levels are not in adequate levels. Next slide, please. I'm sorry.
So Dr. B, just put this in your notes for a little bit later. I'm looking at the chat. So there's some questions around dosage. I know you're going to get to that. I'm
going to get to that. Absolutely. Absolutely. I promise we've got 22 minutes. I'm almost done, believe it or not. So we'll have plenty of time for questions. Vitamin D. I'm not even going to say a whole lot about vitamin D because as Tameka knows, as a patient of mine for, I don't know, you've been a patient of mine probably almost somewhere close to 10 years, something along those lines.
10.
Something like that. Anybody who's been in my practice knows how I feel about vitamin D, vitamin D, vitamin D. Now, vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin. So again, the polar opposite of water-soluble. You cannot take vitamin D on an empty stomach. It will make your stomach hurt. You also need fat present in your system for it to properly be absorbed. But also, like cholesterol, vitamin D is actually a hormone. I'm not even going to say a whole lot about that because I actually teach a 2-hour class on vitamin D by itself. What are some of the highlights for vitamin D? It is a cancer preventer. Lung, COVID affects the lungs. Lung, colon, breast, prostate in the men. Low vitamin D increases your risk for hypertension and high blood pressure. That is in children, teenagers, adults, and seniors across the board. Migraine headaches, low vitamin D, muscle and joint aches, pains, chronic body pain, low vitamin D, blood sugar instability, insulin regulation. A lot of these young people are pre-diabetics. They don't even know it because they don't get any blood work done. Vitamin D, adequate vitamin D levels will help boost, your healthy blood sugar and make sure you're not crashing. Or I'm sitting in class and all of a sudden I can't concentrate. I can't think. What's going on? The other thing is vitamin D is a super powerful immune system booster. Several articles, do your own research, came out, WebMD, several medical journals are noting that vitamin D deficient increases your risk of 1, contracting COVID-19, and number 2, dying from COVID-19. It is a straight up fact that people of color are dying at an excruciatingly disproportionate rate. However, people of color have the lowest vitamin D levels in this country, with Black women leading that charge. So Black women, Black men, Black seniors, low vitamin D. So to me, it only makes sense at minimum, if you don't learn from this presentation tonight, that the absence of symptoms do not equal the presence of health, and you should be taking some sort of vitamin D in some sort of dosage. I'm happy. I've done my job. Next slide, please. So let's just say, some of the things that I've shared with you on this evening pique your interest. I want to know more. I want to do more. What will be the next steps? Well, the next steps are really, really simple. We're going to have you reach out to my practice, which is located in the perimeter area in Sandy Springs. If you're already out of town, no worries. I have patients all over the country and all different time zones, and even patients outside of the United States. Just reach out so that my front office can get the proper paperwork emailed or sent over to you. The next step then, once we have that paperwork back, I review it. We would schedule your lab work. Again, doesn't matter where you are in the United States, we'll find a lab closest to wherever that location is. That particular individual would go have their labs done. We give you all the instructions. Basically, it's not a whole lot, just no food after midnight. That's it. Once we get the lab results, which takes about no more than 3 to 4 days, We will set up a call to review those labs with you. I don't believe in running blood work on a patient and just telling them your numbers are fine, your numbers are good. That's how, as people of color, we get into a lot of trouble. Who's fine and what's good, and who are you comparing me to as an individual? I don't know who that person is. Most people don't know that a lot of your lab reference ranges are based on Caucasian men, to which I am neither. So how do I know what's appropriate for me as an individual? So we go through those labs line by line to make sure that particular patient or individual understand what their numbers mean, and they understand what they need to do to achieve their overall health. And then based on that, what we would do is send or mail the appropriate supplements with instructions to that student and or parent. Next slide, please. Basically, the way we were able to do that is I've had a long-standing relationship with Quest Diagnostics, which is a national laboratory. And so we were able to leverage, you know, a significant discount for our college. This is a cash non-insurance rate. And so the labs that we mentioned in earlier slides, the comprehensive metabolic panel, the lipid panel, the CBC, the vitamin D, the C-reactive protein, and the B12, we were able to get that price down to only $70. To be candidly honest, if you were to do these labs in my practice regularly or go to your primary care or hospital, you would be paying several $100s off top. So I really was inspired by what Tameka wanted to do in terms of helping, you know, the college students. So I said, let me do what I can to make this as affordable as possible. The other beautiful thing, next slide, please, is we're able to do a few add-on tests. So one, especially for the females, if you have heavier cycles, irregular cycles, you experience a lot of fatigue, issues concentrating, for an additional $15, we can add on an iron panel to check your iron to really confirm, are you iron deficient? Do you have iron deficiency anemia or not? And most importantly, we have a plant-based iron supplement that will help naturally boost your iron levels without making you constipated, because it is a fact that over-the-counter prescription iron causes constipation. So basically, we're trading one issue for another. The other one is what we call ABO typing. It is amazing to me how many people don't know their blood type. God forbid there's an accident, whatever happens, or some people like to read the book. Some of the popular diets are eating for your blood type. How do you eat for your blood type if you don't even know what it is? So same thing, for an additional $15, you can actually know what your blood type is. Next slide, please. So before I go ahead and close out, because I'm pretty much finished, I wanted to quickly cover some additional methods to support optimal immune system health, because it is a multi-tier approach. There's not a magic bullet to prevent anything as far as our health is concerned. It's something we have to work on many facets every day. One of the main things is proper hydration. Water, water, water. So I'm super sorry, not sorry, that energy drinks, sports drinks, nutritional juices, Sunny Delights, anything that's got color in it does not count. We're talking about straight water. If you don't like water, we got to learn to love water. You can flavor your water. You can add cucumbers. You can add pineapples. You can add oranges. You can flavor your water without necessarily adding anything that has high fructose corn syrup to it. So drinking water. Another reason why we want to drink water, especially in terms of COVID, is the main way that COVID gets in is through your mucous membranes. That's your eyes, nose, and ears. If you're not properly hydrated, those areas become drier, and the skin, especially in your nose and ears, starts to crack. If that skin is cracked, it's so much easier for a bacteria or virus to get into your system where it doesn't belong. Proper and adequate rest. I know when I was in college, sometimes I would just stay up just to see how long I could stay up. How long could I stay up studying? Things of that nature. Not getting adequate rest weakens your immune system. And I could get into a whole nother seminar about you upsetting your circadian rhythm and throwing off your hypothalamic, pituitary, adrenal axis. We're not even going to do all that. Just know that proper rest, that's when your body has its opportunity to heal and repair itself. If you're always awake, when does your body have the opportunity to do that? It doesn't, and you can only get away with that for so long before things start to break down. Eating nutrient-dense foods. Sometimes this is a challenge, especially in college, especially if you went to an HBCU. I'm not sure what they offer now, but when I went, it was a struggle sometimes. And again, why nutrient-dense food? Because it's those vitamins, the vitamin D, the fatty acids. Those are the things that your body run on. Unfortunately, they don't run on cheese, pepperoni, bread, mayonnaise, mustard, and other things. We need those nutrient-dense foods to keep our system up, to keep our brains functioning, so we can do what we went to college for in the first place, which is get our education and possibly pledge a sorority or fraternity. Again, different seminar. Balanced meals. What is a balanced meal? That means not eating a meal that's 100% protein or 100% carbs. A lot of my patients eat meals that are 100% carbs, but it sounds good. Case in point, me to a patient. What did you eat for breakfast? I had a piece of toast. I had a half of a banana and some grapes. Now that sounds really cute and petite, but what I heard was you ate carbs for breakfast. That's it. Carbs, whether they're simple or complex, break down into sugar. So basically you ate sugar for breakfast, even though it sounded really cute. There was no protein, and protein are the building blocks of every organ, cell, and tissue in your body. So making sure if you're going to eat fruit, you need to really have some sort of protein with that, because if you don't, one, you're going to throw off your blood sugar, and two, your body is not going to recover as fast as it should. Mental health check-in. Again, there's nothing wrong with saying, I need some help. I'm struggling. I need to reach out. Maybe consider getting an accountability partner. There are amazing apps, Calm, Headspace. There are meditations on YouTube, yoga, exercise, whatever you prefer to make sure you keep your mental health, in check. We all are balancing and dealing with a lot, making sure we actually devote time to our mental health, maybe hopping off of social media for a little while, not being so interested in what else is going on, and checking in with ourselves. And of course, as far as I'm concerned, appropriate nutritional supplementation, because all vitamins, unfortunately, are not created equal. What's on the bottle may not actually be what's in the bottle. So making sure, again, you take appropriate supplements in the appropriate dosages. So back to the question about dosages. This is another reason why we do the labs. We're all individuals, and we're all a sum total of our unique experiences. So even the people on this call, if we took vitamin D from everyone on this call, everyone's going to need something different. How do I know what that particular patient needs as an individual? I don't do one size fits all for anything. And it's that blood work, that actual data, that will tell me what that particular individual needs. Because even the directions, guys, on a bottle, that bottle does not know you. That bottle is giving you an assumption that you're pretty much healthy and you're probably not a person of color. So why not take the time, figure out what works for you? That way you know you're going to get the results that you're looking for. Next slide, please. Perfect. That actually concludes my portion of this seminar. Here is my practice information. Again, the name of my practice is Advanced Integrated Healthcare LLC. We're located in the perimeter area, so Sandy Springs, Dunwoody area. The address is 6065 Roswell Road Northeast, Suite 900 in Atlanta. The main office number is 404-256-0114. The front desk at advancedmyhealth.com, that is the front office email. You can send any paperwork requests, anything you need. The front office will make sure you have all of that. And my main website is advancedmyhealth.com. So again, that concludes my portion of the seminar. Tameka, you can go to the next slide. I want to thank you all for your time. I hope this information was beneficial and kind of got you thinking about your health in a more proactive, and more specific way. And again, I am open to any questions.
So thank you, Dr. Kiovanni.
You are welcome. Cue my water.
Guys, I hope you all got something out of this. Now, I mean, like she mentioned, she does a lot of different educational seminars. So shoot, just doing one on vitamin D by itself will open your eyes to some things. But we do have some questions.
Okay.
And then I just even was thinking about when you was talking about our kids going back to school, regardless of college, middle school, high school, and we're hearing about different cases.
Absolutely.
We also have situations when you said there are kids walking around asymptomatic. My bonus child was asymptomatic. And what prompted her testing was because one of her friends was sent back home. I think he played sports. He was sent back home because he tested positive.
Wow.
So, sometimes our kids have it and we don't even know it. And I know I got a note earlier and I haven't had time to respond, but I'm going to respond. So one of my babies tested positive. So I have different kids. I have relatives. My brother's still in ICU, but he's doing better from it. So I guess if we don't know, our kids may be asymptomatic, what advice would you give? This is just a question I'm just putting out there.
Get tested. There are two different types of tests. So you have the one where if you're experiencing symptoms, that's the nasopharyngeal test. That's the one where they stick the Q-tip up your nose, and that test tells you, do you have active infection right now, whether you have symptoms or not. But typically, if you do have symptoms, you can only have access to the nasopharyngeal test, because what we don't want is that person to be walking around and infecting other people, because again, you don't know the immune status of the person next to you, of even your own family members. So that test is always an option. If you're here in Atlanta, they just opened today a huge mega testing center down by the airport. The website is doineedacovidtest.com. That just came out today. I can also provide the information to the COVID hotline. So depending on where you are, you can call and get connected to the testing center closest to you. Now, some of my patients who have been quarantining still want to know, was I ever affected? We can do a COVID antibody test. Same thing. Some people think they may have had COVID as far back as Thanksgiving of 2019. So that COVID antibody test will tell you again, have you been exposed in the past? Meaning it's not active now. You don't have an active infection now, but you did have one recently. So that is a test you can do like at a Quest Diagnostics or something like that. On average, we get those test results back in about 24 to 48 hours. For someone who has tested positive, again, you can still do a lot of the nutritional supplementation and things like that, because now your body's actively fighting. So your body is literally waging war. So we want to make sure that individual system is built up as best as possible. So even for that, it's hard for me to say, because I would want to know, what is the health of that individual? What's their age, height, weight, how they sleep? A lot of factors go into that. But can someone who's actively facing COVID take nutritional supplements? Absolutely. There's a hospital in Georgia where they're treating COVID patients with vitamin D.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that. What about, because I think there's another misnomer. Well, I've already been exposed, or I've already had it, so now I don't have to take any precautions going forward.
My answer would be, who told you that? Again, we make a lot of assumptions, and it's not based on sound information. So that is very dangerous. And there's a lot of people who are being very lax and very cavalier about that. And again, especially if you're asymptomatic, how do you not know that you're actively making other people sick?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I got several questions.
Okay.
That are actually similar. So
okay.
We talked about one that dealing with dosage. Then I got several about the labs. Is the lab special you listed, is that only for the kids, or can the adults and even their in non-college kids take advantage of that?
Yes. Now, with the adults, I need to think about that, because typically, depending on the age of that adult, we're going to want to do some additional testing, especially based on their paperwork. So we'll try to stick as close to that. It just kind of depends on what that individual is looking to accomplish and what their current health situation is.
Okay.
So if someone tells me that they're diabetic, they know they're diabetic, but they haven't been taking any diabetes precautions or medications, I'm going to want to do more testing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, again, I don't mean to be evasive, but like I said, it's kind of hard, because everything we do is always customized to the individual. But would we extend that $70 lab? Because I do have high school athletes, elementary, middle school athletes, and again, kids returning to school, in session. Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I also see, can an individual test positive more than once?
Yes.
So this
Absolutely.
is, we have to still be
But here, an individual can test positive more than once. There are also some kinks that need to be worked out with the rapid testing. So they're doing some rapid testing where you can get your results in 30 minutes to an hour. they're getting a lot of false positives and a lot of false negatives. So a lot of that, again, unfortunately, is individual specific. It's like if you're having symptoms and you tested negative, you may have to go back and get tested again. It could be a false negative. And that's the frustrating part, especially for people who are not in healthcare, because it doesn't make sense to them. But keep in mind, we have no historical data as it relates to the 19 strain of the coronavirus. So we can't say, well, what did we do in 2017? What did we do in 2018? We're literally in the historical data collection now. So at least by this time next year, we can look back on 2020, but we don't have anything to look back to right now. So unfortunately, some of this information I'm sharing today may change in 2 to 3 months. That's unfortunately just the nature of the unique situation that we're in.
Okay, makes sense. Other questions you all have, you can unmute your line and ask, or you can send it to me in the chat. Okay, we quiet. Okay.
I just wanted to address my question, Tameka, that I had, and I know you mentioned it again about, I just want to know a little bit about the dosage for, I think it was B12.
Yes.
It's the same thing. The dosage would be based on whatever that individual's B12 number is.
Okay, gotcha.
So yes. So again, I don't mean to be evasive, but it's like, because I don't know what that number is, I can't tell that person how much to take, because some people will take B12. Let's say they're taking, so B12 is one of those unique supplements where it's measured in not milligrams, but micrograms.
Mm-hmm.
So someone could be taking 1,000 micrograms. When we do their labs, that person should have been taking 5,000 micrograms.
Wow.
That individual can get frustrated and say, B12 doesn't work. You weren't taking enough.
Gotcha.
This is another reason why we look at the data. And then also like a patient like Tameka, because I've done labs on her over so many years, I already know, wait a minute, this isn't normal for this patient. What's going on?
Okay.
So having labs done also sets a baseline. So if something changes in terms of your health, we can go back and say, well, wait a minute, that had to change between this date and this date because things were fine the last time we checked.
Okay, and that's the same for vitamin D as well. Okay.
Absolutely for vitamin D, because again, your average person of color, their vitamin D ranges between 0 and I would say 12 to 15.
Yeah.
When optimal vitamin D levels are between 60 and 80.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah,
And so you can't look at someone and predict what their number is going to be.
Wow.
No, I wish I could have found my labs and I would have shared it with you all, because I remember.
I mean, had you told me, Tameka, I have them, I would have uploaded them.
I wasn't thinking. I didn't have vitamin D. I basically was zilch. Basically didn't have any vitamin D in my system.
That's me, Tameka. Yeah.
And so I think I was on the 5,000s twice a week.
Exactly.
To get mine up over a course of time. And then we were able to adjust
exactly
my numbers.
Exactly. And then if the patient, and also guys, this is also assuming that any patient has no other health issues. What about people who have autoimmune conditions, cancer survivors, active cancer patients? When my own mother was going through cancer treatment, I had my mother on 100,000 international units of vitamin D every week. That's not good for everybody, but it's what she needed at that particular time. So that's why, especially because as people of color, we don't get the proper health care a lot of times. So that's why I do my best to be as specific as possible so that everybody's needs are met.
Yep. You all
Tameka, there was a question that flashed across the screen. I saw some of it. It said, I can't remember all of it. It was, does the virus grow on food? How long does it linger in the system?
Yeah, so how long does the virus linger on surfaces, and does the virus grow in foods?
I'm going to be candidly honest. We don't know. We don't even know. Because again, there are not enough time has passed with this virus to be able to say for certain. That's one of the reasons why you want to make sure you're washing your hands, you're cleaning your surfaces, you're doing everything, you're making sure your immune system is built up. Because how long the virus, if my immune system is built up, the virus may not linger in my body as long as it lingers in the person who has low vitamin D, who doesn't drink any water, who's got high blood pressure, and they don't take care of themselves. Because the virus is like, well, I got a free place to live, I'm gonna stay here. Versus this body, this environment is not hospitable, I'm gonna move on to the next person.
Yeah. Can the so Dr. B, well, I'm going to share the link to the recording, but they're asking if they can get the PowerPoint.
I don't see why not.
Okay.
It looked much nicer. Like I said, my computer didn't want to download Zoom and it ate my formatting. So that's fine.
All right. So I'll share.
And I'm somebody who's pretty tech savvy. So that really upset me. I didn't like that at all.
Well, it's the information that matters, not what.
Absolutely.
So any other questions? Because, you know, I don't want to hold y'all. We just wanted to get you the information.
Right quick.
And
get you thinking.
Yeah. Knowledge is power. Because I'm going to get I'm going to get another set of blood work done because it's time for me. Well, I'm actually overdue for getting an update to see where I'm at. And because of what I've been through, like with adrenal fatigue, I know I've been under a lot of stress, especially the last 75 days. So I'm going to get ahead of it because I want to make sure I don't have no issues going on. And I need to see if I need to make adjustments with my supplements because of the extra stress I've been under. So I'm not asking y'all to do something I'm not doing. So I'm definitely doing that. And then, oh yeah, Dr. B, I've gotten hip to oils now. So I got my diffuser and my natural oils going.
Very
So
nice.
I'm very serious about this whole natural living and healing my body with earth, things that come from the earth. So I promise y'all, I'm not telling y'all anything I don't do and sharing anything with you that I don't practice or don't believe in.
Absolutely.
I have a question for you, Dr.
Okay.
What about working out? I've heard also, would that also help? Because I think it, of course, it's attacking the lungs, the virus. So would you suggest that the family, like we try to walk every week, not every week, but in the week, in the evenings, I'm sorry. And do you think that that's something that would help, not prevent, but, you know, maybe it's something that will be good for, to help the body?
Absolutely. It's what we would call an indirect benefit because, again, walking is good for your circulation. It's good for your joints. Anytime you walk or exercise, your body releases chemicals called endorphins. Those are your feel-good chemicals. So that's just giving you that overall, like, I did good today. I did something good for myself. I feel healthy. All of that plays a part into maintaining healthy mood and proper mental health status. So absolutely, anything you can do for yourself, you know, in terms of walking, exercise, hydration is only going to help in the long run. I've never heard of a situation where you figure out, like, what happened to that person? They walk too much. Doesn't usually happen.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions? No? Okay, so just quick recap. If you want to get started, all you have to do is reach out to Dr. Kiovanni's office. And let me just put this out there. Yeah, I don't get nothing from this connection. Somebody writing on my screen.
It's not me.
Oh, I don't get kickbacks or anything like that. I just want to make sure y'all know that. But if you want to move forward, we're not pressing you. We just wanted to educate, inform, and just empower you with information to be more proactive. Many of you hear me talk about it from the college planning perspective. The time to be ready is not the time to get ready. We have to learn how to stay ready. Well, the same principle applies with our health. And the more educated you are and the more informed, the better equipped you'll be in staying ready for your health, for your scholars' health, for your entire family. So I will send out this information, the link, the slides, and I'll put Dr. Kiovanni's contact information so you can reach out to her office directly, because I can't help you with none of that stuff, because I have to reach out and order my stuff just like you. But I'm glad you all found this beneficial and helpful, and I just hope that it becomes transformational. That is the key. Take the information, apply it, use it. Now, Dr. Kiva, I know this goes into a whole nother subject, kind of, but I just want y'all to understand something. And I learned this lesson years ago, and I literally just had this conversation with somebody. Supplements. Because you may be thinking, well, I can just go get some vitamin D over the counter. I can just go get some off the shelf. Please trust me when I say every supplement is not equal. They're not created equal. And I remember doing this test with some old supplements. I got a cup, put some water in it, little water, and I dropped the pill in there to see if it would dissolve. Because the concept is, if it doesn't dissolve, then that's how it's sitting in your system. That means you're not getting any value or any nutrients from it. It's sitting in your stomach whole, and then it's just going to pass through your system. So you want to spend money on these supplements, and your body has reaped zero benefits. So please trust me and understand when I say I'm very particular about where I get my supplements from. Most of my supplements comes from her office. Now,
but understand that doesn't mean that they have to necessarily be expensive either. We're just talking about reproducible quality.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
So just be mindful of make sure it's quality supplements. There are quality supplements out there. So just understand it. I just wanted to put that out there. Well, I guess no other questions. Dr. Kiovanni, any closing party words?
I think I said a lot.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
again, if you have any questions or we can help in any way, again, not only your college students, but high school, middle, elementary, please feel free to reach out to the office. There's our office address as well as our telephone number and the front office email. Again, I thank you all for your time. And again, you can reach out if you have a question, maybe you think of a little later that you didn't get to ask right now. Go ahead and shoot that over to the front desk at advancemyhealth.com email so we can go ahead and get that question answered for you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Dr. Kiovanni. I appreciate you for doing this. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Stay safe, and I'll talk to you all soon.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. See you, everyone.